Ooh, so exciting. Baseball is back. Let's take a live look outside right now on your Friday morning over the campus of CSU in Fort Collins. Today, it's going to be another beautiful day. It's your last chance for a little while to get outside and enjoy these warm temperatures. Thanks for joining us. Happy Friday. I'm Corey Rose.
And I'm Jordan Chavez. Good morning. Yes, it looks like we're starting those April showers just a bit earlier this weekend. Let's get a check of your forecast now with senior meteorologist Chris Bianchi back with us after a few days away. He's outside in the 9 News backyard. Chris, thankfully no rain on you just yet.
Not yet. About 12 hours, we'll get some of that rain into the picture. And by the way, we got all sorts of plants here in the backyard that are growing. I want to give them a little advice. Maybe hang out for a little while longer underground and wait for that real spring weather to move on in, because today is going to be our last warm day for a while. Today, temperatures upper 70s for us for a high in Denver. Right now, we're at 54 for us, and it's pretty mild. I can tell you that firsthand right now here in town. 54 degrees, a lot of 30s, 40s, eastern plains, and we'll top out at 77 today. Fair bit of cloud cover similar to yesterday. Those clouds will increase this afternoon, but we'll stay dry for most of the day today. That radar pretty quiet right now, but we've got some active weather off to our north and west. That'll lead to our next storm system. So it's warm today, but showers tonight. And I'll have details on a very cool and wet looking weekend for us coming up here in just a couple of minutes. But again, I must say I'm a little distracted by all these plants. It looks beautiful out here in the 9 News backyard, but all I want to do as a meteorologist is tell these plants, hey, hang out underground for a little while longer.
Chris, thank you so much. For those heading out the door right now, 5:02 is your time. Happy Friday morning. Right now, we're taking a live look of I-70 right near Vail Pass, where the westbound lanes right now are shut down because of a crash. You can see very active scene out there. We do have crews. Unclear how many vehicles are involved in this crash, but I do want to switch things over to our main maps real quick, kind of show you where we're seeing that closure. So again, if you're heading to Vail, if you're taking I-70 right now, heading westbound, that's where we're seeing that closure. Once that area reopens, we'll definitely keep you updated, but for now, definitely avoid I-70 if you're heading that way. Traffic volume is very light out there. Same story for those here in the Denver metro area. We're not seeing any delays at the moment. A lot of green on your screen. So get into your drive times real quick. I-225 from I-70 heading into I-25. You're looking at a 10-minute drive.
Brianna, thank you. An immigrant rights activist being detained by Immigration and Customs Enforcement right now is set to appear in federal court today. Colorado's leading Democrats have been blasting the Trump administration for detaining Jeanette Vizguera. 9 News reporter Courtney Yoon joins us live from federal court in Denver. And Courtney, a judge halted her deportation.
Yes, that's right, Corey. Vizguera's court hearing is set for later on this afternoon. And last week, a federal judge issued an order saying that ICE or Homeland Security shall not remove her until further notice. Now, Vizguera was arrested by ICE last week in the parking lot of the Target store where she works, according to one of her children. Backers of President Donald Trump's immigration policies cheered Vizguera being a priority for deportation, citing her speech, political views, and prominent advocacy. Denver Mayor Mike Johnston called her detention a, quote, Putin-style persecution. Other Democratic politicians like Governor Jared Polis, U.S. Senators Michael Bennet, John Hickenlooper, and Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser have spoken out on social media about her detainment. Vizguera has been an advocate for immigration reform since Trump's first term, when she made national news for taking refuge in a church for several years to avoid deportation.
This administration has shown they don't care about legalities. It's quite obvious to me, at least, that the object of this kind of exercise is to generate fear, to keep people quiet, to keep people who might speak out against injustices or insist on due process, to make them not willing to do that.
Vizguera does have a criminal record. She has 2 misdemeanor convictions from more than 10 years ago. Democratic leaders have described her as a, quote, mother of American citizens who works at Target. Her hearing is set to start at 1:30 here in Denver Federal Court. We'll be sure to bring you any updates on 9 News later on today. And coming up at 6 o'clock, we'll hear from her daughter. Live in Denver, Courtney Yoon, 9 News.
All right, Courtney, thank you. Also today, a crucial hearing is set to take place for a man accused in a random Aurora shooting spree. Austin Benson faces multiple counts of attempted murder for the shootings in Aurora last June. But earlier this year, court documents showed that doctors who evaluated him decided he was not mentally competent to stand trial, meaning he could not understand the proceedings or assist in his own defense. Benson was also arrested in 2018, accused of driving drunk down a Douglas County road and shot people. The judge on that trial concluded that he was not mentally competent, saying it wasn't likely that treatment would help. Now today, prosecutors will need to decide whether to seek a second opinion. If he cannot be restored to competency through treatment or medication, it's likely the criminal charges will be dismissed.
This morning, family and community members in Highlands Ranch are demanding justice after Douglas County deputies shot and killed an armed man outside of the Main Event Arcade last month. On February 9th, the Douglas County Sheriff's Office was responding to a shooting at the Main Event in Highlands Ranch. As they were responding, body camera video shows a deputy with his gun drawn approaching Jalen Sebron, ordering him several times to drop the gun. Then the deputy shot and killed Sebron. This was all in a matter of 7 seconds. And because of this, family members want the deputy involved to be fired. Additionally, family advocates say the sheriff has been unwilling to meet with them, take accountability, and apologize. Jalen's mom, Veronica, says she feels the justice system left her behind.
I can't even grieve because there's so much anger and answers that I still need. Simple things can be done and said by taking accountability to alleviate what I have to go through in order to finally rest with my son and let him finally be at peace. I feel like he can't even be at peace because we still got to do this fight.
The sheriff has said he expects the investigation into the shooting to finish in early April and requested to meet after that.
New this morning, we are learning that a longtime Department of Homeland Security employee is on leave after she accidentally included a journalist in an email about upcoming ICE operations back in January. Officials say that she included a reporter from a Washington print publication of the ICE operations in the Denver area. The information was not classified, but was considered sensitive because it included details about timing and locations. The employee soon realized her mistake and told the reporter not to publish the information. Despite that, the employee is now on administrative leave and could have her security clearance revoked. This all comes after the Trump administration accidentally shared attack plans in a Signal group chat, yet no one is facing any consequences.
Now, speaking of the Signal app, the Denver mayor's office uses the same messaging app that's causing controversy for the Trump administration. Members of the Trump administration were using Signal, an auto-deleting enabled encrypted texting app, when they added a journalist to a chat about attack plans. They set the text to delete in 4 weeks. Denver mayor's office employees also use Signal, but only on their personal phones since it is banned on city devices. They say they use it to talk about the actions of the Trump administration and how they impact the city.
It's not illegal for government officials to use it. There are circumstances in which, particularly if you have the auto delete function on, that's what creates problems.
A spokesperson for Mayor Mike Johnston says they used to have auto-delete functions on their personal phones. Now they told staff to get rid of that to abide by open records law. A federal judge says he will order the Trump administration to preserve records of that text message chat in which senior national security officials discuss sensitive details of plans for a U.S. military strike against Yemen's Houthis. U.S. District Judge James Boasberg said during a hearing this week that he will issue a temporary restraining order barring administration officials from destroying messages sent over the encrypted messaging app Signal.
In other news this morning, President Trump is targeting another large Washington, D.C. law firm under a new executive order. The order is directing agencies to suspend the security clearances and access to federal buildings of lawyers from the law firm Wilmer-Hale. Wilmer-Hale is the former professional home to one-time special counsel Robert Mueller. He led the probe into Russian interference back in 2016 during the election. Mueller's team found Trump likely obstructed justice during his first term, but could not be charged with a crime.
Trump also signed an executive order to establish a task force that will direct more federal law enforcement control in Washington, D.C. One of the things it aims to do is ensure a federal hand is involved in deporting undocumented immigrants in the area, but it will also beef up the federal law enforcement presence in places like the National Mall and Memorial Parks. The task force will be headed by Homeland Security Advisor Stephen Miller and representatives from other federal agencies.
Well, this morning, members of the Senate Aviation Subcommittee are calling for action in the wake wake of the D.C. mid-air collision that killed 67 people. Right now, the head of the NTSB says that their investigation is still ongoing, but she praised Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy for adopting the recommendations from the preliminary report. In a hearing on Capitol Hill, the FAA says new technology will be put in place to better address the problem in the future. The January 29th collision near the nation's capital was the deadliest U.S. air crash in more than 2 decades.